Hello, my name is Rosalind Scott, Dementia Navigator for Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. I'm also the facilitator for the Dementia Alliance Book Club. This month, we are honoring Black History Month with interviews with two of our members from our book club. Our first guest is Michael Rainey, a male African American caregiver caring for his mother who's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Hi, we have Michael Rainey with us today. He is a caregiver for his mom. He also served 20 years, I believe. 22 years.
Okay, sure.
He served 22 years in the Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. We're here today to celebrate Black History Month. We want to focus on you because you are an African American male caregiver, and we know that you guys also care for loved ones, and so we want to have a conversation about that today.
Sure.
So let's start off with our first question here. So what would you say it means to you, Michael, to be a male caregiver?
What is it?
What does it mean to you, to be a male caregiver?
Okay, first off, let's just say being a caregiver, period, for me, that's just like circle of life. We talked about this
right.
It's my turn.
Oh, wow.
My mom did all the things I'm doing for her.
Wow.
She did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's my turn. And I always say it, anything less would be unacceptable. And so that's the driving force for me.
Wow.
It's my mom.
It's your mom.
What else do I need?
But I hear the normal caregiving role would be for the female, the daughter,
yes,
or in some cases the wife.
Right.
But you are a African American male and you're caring for your mom. Did you hesitate a moment with that when it
a big moment,
right?
Because there's things I do, like I ball and dance,
right.
So that kept me away from the house a lot,
right.
Mm-hmm. So I had to give some thought. What am I going to give up? Am I ready to stop doing certain things? And that's what you do. You give up stuff,
right?
And you make the choice, and the choice that I had was continue partying and dancing, or take care of your mom.
Mm. So that wasn't it. So it made sense to you just to kind of fall into that role.
Take care of my mom. And as far as when you say traditionally it would be a woman,
mm-hmm.
or well, initially my sister did have my mom.
Right.
And again, not that she doesn't love my mom.
Right.
I think my time in the Corps, being a drill instructor and an instructor at the academy, and it gave me a little bit better attitude. My disposition was a little bit.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So that played a part.
That played a part in it. And again, not that she didn't love my mom,
right.
but she didn't have what it takes to handle the reality that my mom had Alzheimer's.
Right.
So she couldn't see that. Oh, mom. Well, she knows what she's doing.
Right.
No, she doesn't. but she said that. It's not good. Right? So they would go back and forth, and it was like, okay. At the time, my mom was like 89.
Right.
She doesn't need that.
Right. And your sister probably too.
Yeah, and actually, and when we talked about it,
mm-hmm.
She was a little reluctant first because she felt like she was giving up.
Yeah. And she's a female, and I think as
right.
females, that's one of the things that we do too, because
yes.
we're nurturers. So the thing would be that we would do the caring, and
right.
you're the brother. Are you the only brother?
Only brother now.
Okay.
From my mom. I have some brothers, step brothers. Well, I don't call them step brothers,
but they're your brothers.
Right,
yeah. So I think as women, we have a tendency to have that concept that we're nurturers.
Yes.
Is what we're supposed to do. I think that's how society has
right.
molded us.
Normal
so
thinking.
For her to say, come to you and say, Michael, or to agree with you,
right.
or come and agree with you, that this is something that she feels that is more,
right.
appropriate for you to do. That was,
so it took a conversation. My husband even talked to her because
wow.
She doesn't want to feel like she had failed
mm-hmm.
in some way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But after we talked about it,
It worked out well.
Yeah, it worked
out. We get like, we struggle with these things.
Yes.
We got to give them up. We don't want to give them up
right.
because we don't want people to look at us in a negative light.
Right.
And so,
that has changed though, when she was with my mom, and she lived with my mom for a few years. My mom was not in the condition that she is now. She could walk, talk, cook. She could do all of those things. Right. She just lived with. Mm-hmm. Now, since then, where my mom is, I pick her up, put her on to carry her to the toilet, carry her to the bed.
Right.
I feed her. She's had the occasion to keep mom
since she has gotten to the stage, and she's pretty
good with it. She's good with it.
Oh, Michael, love you so much.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh my gosh. So that takes us to our next question. Can you share something about how you came to be to caregiver? Is that
basically
you were already living there, and so you kind of just went on and took on that role?
I took her. I would, on occasion, and she lived in Charlotte. My sister did with my mom.
Right.
I'd go down and get her and have her at my house for a couple of days, sometimes a week, and then take her back. Right. And what I noticed, she was happier at my house.
Wow. Okay.
She was happier at my house.
Okay.
And again, it was because the way we interacted.
And that's what I was. Yeah.
It was the dynamics were different with my sister.
Right.
And then some, how you say two women living in a house.
Don't say that.
I don't know how true that is. Yeah. I'm just saying. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like.
Yeah.
That was another thing, pulling that out. So I noticed when she came
to your place.
Yeah, it was, and noticeably different. Mm-hmm. The way she talked. Not that she was fearful or anything like that, but she was just a little bit more open. She just seemed happy.
Right.
My thing was the last years, and know how long they have.
Right.
But I couldn't see my mom.
Right.
Not being happy. Toward the end of her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. She went through this, change. This change in her life.
Right. No, there's no need for her to not be happy.
Right. You're very passionate
about that. Yeah.
Very
because
passionate.
It is so. You see, I'm a little right.
Oh.
It's so real.
Yeah.
I have an opportunity now to do for her what she did for me.
Wow.
So people pat me on the back and all that. I take it.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what am I supposed to do?
But I think the reason why, and I have had you do like a veteran thing and a couple of things, and you won an award or a certificate and stuff like that. So I think for society, the norm of a male with the passion that you have, and then on top of that, you being a veteran, we don't. It's not that it's not happening, because I know it's happening.
Right.
It's just that it's not a lot out there that's recognizing the male caregiver, let alone the African male caregiver. Yeah. Outside of maybe a spouse, a male caregiver such as yourself, taking care of their mom is this is rare.
Right.
It's happening, and it
was an adjustment for my mom too.
Wow. Talk about that a little bit.
The personal things.
Yeah. You being the son.
Right. She was embarrassed, Mm-hmm. Like the first time where I had to actually touch her. Yeah. When I'm cleaning her. Boy, she was really embarrassed to the point, that I didn't know exactly what to do, so we talked and and it was like, I said, this has to happen, She said, "Yeah, I know, but
you're my son."
Yeah, right.
I love what you said.
It was like, okay, let's deal with this. It's like, so I could let you just become stinky,
right.
Or we can work this out. Right?
I love what you said, that you guys had a conversation about it.
Yes.
I love that, because I think sometimes there's a lack of conversation because there's a focus on, we got to get it done. Mm-hmm. It has to happen, so I'm just going to do it.
Right.
We're not going to have a conversation about it. I'm going to do it because it needs to be done and you're going to let me do it.
Right.
Or there's that other side of it where you say, well, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. There's no conversation.
Right.
I'm not going to do it because you won't let me. And so it just goes to this things where it may, this situation or this circumstance where it becomes an issue for the two. Because
and that's what it is for. Even the fact that she's my mom and I'm dictating to her now.
Ooh,
you know, I am the daddy, and you are the daughter.
Wow.
But I couldn't go at it that way, so I had an adjustment to make with that just as well as she did, because these things, like you're saying, have to get done.
Right.
But how do I approach that to my mother? You know, after all else is said and done, that's my mother.
Right.
Even those times when she's in the cloud, and that's what I call when that Alzheimer's jumps on her and she really doesn't know what's happening. And I have to treat her like my baby.
Wow.
And that was, talk about an adjustment. That was, that worked for me. I didn't really, I was like, oh God, this has to be done. But how do you make your mother do something, you know? And it's like, okay, Mike, she's your mother all the time, but sometimes she's your daughter.
Wow.
All right? So
you got to get it done.
Handle it. Handle
it. Just get it done. You have a
do
beautiful approach. I love your attitude and how, and we've been knowing each other now for over a year. And of course, we've had conversations, and you've told me about some things that you've had to do and adjust along the way.
Yes.
And I think it's awesome. I think you are an amazing example for, male caregivers across the board, not just African American caregivers, but male caregivers across the board that have to take care of their moms, or it may be even a sister, maybe it's not a mother, but someone other than their spouse. I think you have done an amazing job with that.
It's about teaching and learning. Being an instructor a good portion of my life. Even I worked for Marriott as a director.
Right.
So it's a lot of times I'm dictating. I'm issuing orders.
Right.
With my mom, I'm issuing orders, but I've got to modify it.
Ooh.
You got to modify the delivery.
Yeah.
In most cases, you can tell people to do something, and sometimes they'll be reluctant to do it. Sometimes, and it really has to do with the delivery.
I call it the presentation. How you present what you want a person to do something. How do you present that? Sometimes makes a difference in how things turn out. Right. Whether you get it done or whether you don't.
And with my mom, it's not so much I'm trying to teach her. I'm trying to learn.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? You can't.
You got words of little nuggets.
But how can you teach somebody that it's only going to last for 5 minutes?
Right.
Whatever you're talking about, it's going to last 5 minutes, and then it's gone. Right? It's
so
gone.
It's more about you learning how to adjust and be what she needs you to be, as opposed to you trying to teach her.
I mentioned this one too, I'll just tell these folks I mentioned about before she got to the state she's in now, she used to want to help because I cooked and did all. She would always want to do the dishes.
Right.
So I would have to go looking for stuff like my spices and stuff. It's not where I usually keep it. I would take it when I found it and put it back. And then next time I'm looking for it, it's back where it was when she did. How to solve that problem? Wherever she put it, that's where it became the new place for me.
Oh, wow.
That was the new place. Wow. If she felt that salt did not need to go in this cabinet, it needed to go over there, that's where I went to get it.
That's awesome.
Because you can't teach. And those folks that I think create a problem for themselves. Every time is the first time when I talk to her.
Right.
It's not like, well, you remember. Well, she probably don't.
Right.
So every time is the first time. And again, it's dealing with a Alzheimer's patient.
Yeah.
Or a person, in this particular, my mom.
Your mother.
You can't teach. You have to learn.
Wow.
You adjust. you know, I told you about the spoons.
Yeah,
you know,
I remember you first,
yeah.
and so that was awesome. And you know, like I said, you have made some awesome adjustments as a male caregiver. Because you know, another thing about males are not always known to have the patience, and of
Right.
course the nurturing that female caregivers have had. But you know, and so you another thing too. The other thing you have. Your mom goes to daycare, so you've reached out and you're doing resources in the community, and I know your sister still helps as well.
Yes.
And then when you don't do ballroom dancing as much
Not
as you
as
used
much,
to,
right,
but you know
right.
you still have friends that help you with that.
Yes.
And caring for her. So talk a little bit about the resources that you have, whether they're community resources, whether they're resources within the family. Tell us a little bit about that.
First resource was you.
Why, thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
when I was first starting there,
Right,
it was
right.
like, okay, what do I need? Where do I go?
Right.
I need to bake a cake. So do I go to a mechanic or
Do I go to a baker?
carpenter?
Right.
I go to a baker. All right, I'm dealing with somebody who has dementia or Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
So who should I go to?
Right, right.
It made sense. So I'm always willing to reach out. I am not one of those folks where you can't tell me anything.
Right.
I want you to tell all that you know.
Right.
Some of it I'll use, some of it I won't, but I need to know about it. Also, Guilford County had, when we started.
When we started, I was with another agency, and we've got some respite to help you with that. And then you transitioned to, I think at the same time you were transitioning or looking for services through what is called the PACE program in Guilford County.
And talk about interacting and networking.
Mm-hmm.
One of the administrators at PACE, I danced with.
Oh, okay.
With Smooth Grooves. And so just knowing my situation while we're talking.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, why don't you do this?
Wow.
Okay, sure. And that has happened several times, because in the dance community, there's a lot of frontline workers, nurses, and so
in the healthcare field in some way or other. Yeah.
So they're feeding me information. And I'm like a sponge.
You're soaking it all in.
It up, not like that rock where it just bounce off you. I'm a sponge. Give it all to me. But that getting information from people, and it doesn't matter where or who. I can listen to it.
Right.
Some of it I'm not going to use.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to turn it off. No. All right. Yeah. So I reach out and.
The other thing too is you are a resourceful person. Now that you are in the we have a book club with Dementia Alliance, and so you are
fun.
And so you bring so much to that forefront as well. And I appreciate your input that you bring to that. When we're in the group, and we have you and another male caregiver,
Melvin.
Melvin, and he's a Melvin pastor. I call him. He's probably going to kill me when he sees this. But Pastor Mason, he's a male caregiver, veteran as well. And we have another gentleman. He's another veteran, and he's caring for his spouse. And I have a passion for that as well. Michael, this has been awesome. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing with us at Dementia Alliance, your role as a male caregiver. Keep doing what you do. You're doing a magnificent job. And if any way that we can help you outside of, what you're already doing, just let us know.
You don't think I won't?
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Thank you.
Hey, good to go.
All right.
Right.